My name is Norbert Riezler, and I'm the Chief Procurement and Sustainability Officer for Las Vegas Sands Corporation. I don't know if you know much about Las Vegas Sands, but we are one of the largest integrated resort operators in the world. We have resorts in the United States and also in Asia. Sustainability for us really touches all aspects of the business. So it has four pillars that we focus on. It focuses on green buildings. We are a large development and an operating company, and so we develop our own buildings. So we want to make sure that we have energy efficient buildings right from the start when we design them, when we construct them, that we do so using a lot of recycled material, whether it's steel or concrete. When we pick the building materials, whether it's furniture, carpet, paints, that we have the right building materials. So first pillar is the buildings itself. The second focus area is our operations, and we operate these buildings for a long period of time. And on the operations, it's really three areas that we focus on. Number one is our energy and water consumptions, and there it's simple. It's all about reducing those as much as we can. It's about recycling and increasing our recycling rate, so that's all about increasing recycling. And the third area in the operating is about what we buy, the goods and services that we buy, sustainable goods and services. That's the second pillar. The third pillar focuses on green meetings. Las Vegas Sands runs some of the largest conventions and exhibition centers in the world, whether it's in Macau or in Singapore or here in Las Vegas. And for Las Vegas, for example, we have 20 of the largest 50 trade shows in the United States at our Sands Convention Center. And the green meetings is all about offering our clients a wide array of green meeting choices. Some of it is already built into the program that you automatically have, but then you can choose and pick from a menu to organic foods. And we also give you an impact statement that when you have a meeting with us, that you know exactly what your carbon footprint was when you held the meeting. And the fourth area, the fourth pillar, is about stakeholder engagement. Stakeholders, that includes our own employees. We have 45,000 employees by now, and engaging them, educating them, training them. It's about including the external community, and engaging them through different charitable organizations, and also to make sure that people understand what we are doing. And so we have our sustainability report that we created so we can communicate with the external community as well about our efforts. First of all, we have a sustainability team at each one of our properties. So there is a small sustainability organization, and then around that small group we have created the green councils at each one of our property that really includes all of our operating departments. So there is gaming people in it, hotel people, facilities people, HR, you name it. So we have this organization set up at the different properties. And then we kind of like separate it out to what are the operating items that we want to do. So that is, again, what initiatives can we have to reduce our energy consumptions? And I'll give you a couple of examples in a second. Or what initiatives could we have to increase our recycling rate? Or we look at also on a capital expenditure side. So what big initiatives can we drive? What new technologies can we implement? Whether it is ideally upfront when we design and build the buildings, or sometimes when we do retrofits. So I could give you a couple of examples if you want. So on the operating side, lighting technology is just incredible these days, and it's changing so rapidly that in Las Vegas, for example, we are already on our third iteration of energy efficient lighting. So here in Las Vegas, we are an all-suite hotel. Our typical room has 750 square foot. And maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, the energy consumption per room was more than 1,000 watt. Through the third iteration already of energy efficient lighting, we have been able to reduce it down to 270 watt from more than 1,000. And what is great about it is that you can actually increase your guest experience as well, because we were able to increase our lighting in the suites and at the same time reduce our energy consumption by 75%, which is fantastic. On the capital side, things that we do, for example, is we implemented a large nanofiltration system here in Las Vegas, where the runoff water that you have here in Las Vegas that is around the building, we are actually pumping that up. We are filtering it through our nanofiltration system. And for every 4 gallons of water, we get 3 gallons of clean water. And then we do all of our irrigation for the entire properties. We do from this nanofiltration system. So we are completely off the grid when it comes to the irrigation for all of our plants throughout our property here in Las Vegas. So those are 2 examples. Maybe I'm just very optimistic about it, but in my mind, what it takes is 2 things, right? You need to have really strong support from senior leadership. And look, that's why they created this position that I hold, to have a chief sustainability officer in the company. But we have really strong support from Mike Levin, who is the chief operating officer, Ken Kay, who is our chief financial officer, or Chris Cahill, who is the president of our operations globally. And there is a really strong commitment with a business plan, with the appropriate funding from the top of the organization. But then it also takes a real grassroots level, right? And there is people around the world that really care about the environment. And it is actually not that difficult to engage these people. With 45,000 people that we have, I mean, they are coming out of the woodworks. They are passionate about it. They want to see that the company is not, wasting resources. They want to see that we recycle. They want to participate. They want to be creative in their ideas. They want to engage. So it's all about, grassroots level efforts, and it's all about senior management support. And then it's about prioritization. What can we do and what can't we do? But we have been, like I said, we have a pretty substantial capital budget that we have approved. We have an organization in each one of our properties that focuses specifically on this. And any idea that is turned up that makes somewhat sense, we are actually able to implement it. So there isn't that many challenges. Maybe the challenge is that with all the ideas that come up, we can't implement it fast enough, so which is great. It's a nice problem to have. We just released our sustainability report, and in it we made public commitments in reducing our carbon footprint out to 2015, and also increasing our recycling rate, reducing our water consumption. So obviously we are very focused on implementing that plan. And our properties, since we are a development company and a fast-growing company, our properties are at different stages, right? So let me walk you maybe through it. At a more mature property, as our Las Vegas properties are, here it's all about increasing and continuously driving the plans that we have in place. So that is, the recycling rate in Las Vegas, I believe today we are at 43%. We want to drive that up to 55% over the next couple of years, and there is clear measurements in place to do that. Now, in Macau, we just opened up Sands Cotai Central, the first phase of it early April, and we are opening up the next phase in September. There it's all about now fine-tuning as you open up a massive property with 6,000 rooms, large casinos, shops, restaurants. Now it's all about establishing a baseline when the building is open, and then setting those clear objectives in it. And Singapore is kind of like in between a very mature operation that we have here in Vegas, or a property that we just opened up. They have been operating for about 2 years. There we are ready to really establish the baseline now and set the right objectives on it. A couple of items that I do want to highlight is green meetings. The program is fully rolled out today in Las Vegas, and it's very strong, it's very good. The green meeting industry is really changing rapidly, or the meeting industry is actually changing rapidly to become green. And large convention groups, they really do care, because people start really caring about this. They want to know that what do they do with all of the soaps or the amenities that are in the room? How do they wash all these towels? Do they do it in a sustainable manner? Is the carpet and the paint, is it really low VC, for example? So the guests are becoming so much more sophisticated, and it truly becomes a differentiator. And the other point that I do want to highlight also is how easy it is to engage in the community. I'll give you a couple of good examples here again in Las Vegas. There is an organization called Opportunity Village that supports mentally challenged people, and they hire them to do various different jobs. And in the economy as bad as it is, and especially with handicapped people, to find these employment opportunities are just fantastic. So we have a program, for example, where we recycle all of our linen and all of our terry, and we cut it into cleaning racks. So this is a very simple little program, but in the past we threw that away and we bought cleaning racks. Now we are able to actually use the linen and terry to make cleaning racks. We actually save money doing that, but it provided, I believe, 10 additional jobs to the community here in Las Vegas. The other one is our program that we have with Clean the World, which is recycling all of our soaps and amenities. So it's a pretty comprehensive program. We started it here in Las Vegas, and we are working hard to bring that overseas as well, into Macau and Singapore. And so you recycle the soaps, the housekeepers all collect it, then it goes to Clean the World. They are reprocessing it and recutting it, and then the soaps are distributed throughout the world. They do it in the local communities, but they also do it to third world countries. And it's pretty touching when you actually, something that you threw into a landfill not too long ago, now is actually recycled, and it actually has an impact to save lives, a simple activity like that. And there is hundreds of these opportunities out there, and each one, piece by piece, you're able to make a difference. So it's a pretty exciting time. I grew up in an Austrian ski resort. So I grew up in the Alps, yodeling around, all the mountains, and it's all the natural environment, right? And where I grew up, it was very, the economy is very dependent on a sustainable business model, because people come to see today, they come to ski in the wintertime in the beautiful Alps, and in the summer they come to hike and bike and canoe and do all of that. So there is an understanding that you have that the natural environment around you, you really have to protect it. Because that is your life stream, that is your economy, that's your income. So it's really ingrained in your culture. I'm still, to this day, when I go back there and I visit my 81-year-old, almost 81-year-old mother, on how deep the recycling is in there, because she produces maybe a garbage bag of plastic a month. That's it. Everything else is either composted, the glass is recycled. When you pick up a cup of yogurt, the plastic goes here, the aluminum lid goes there. It's just really, really deeply ingrained. So I've always been passionate about recycling everywhere that I have lived. So when the executive leadership of Las Vegas Sands gave this additional responsibility to me on top of the procurement, I was obviously delighted, because it's, like I said, deeply in my blood.